At the sound of the pentatonic scale, it's a sign that you're tuned to the 137th SongBike Guitar Q&A Livestream. Here we are, May the 9th. Happy Mother's Day tomorrow to all the mothers out there. Want to make sure we got that information into your ears. You have a Mother's Day plan? I sure hope you do. We got rain is our forecast for the next, 36 hours. Hope you had a great week. Hope you're ready to rock and roll and play some great music. We have a great show, as always. My name's Jonathan. What's your name? I know what your name is. I see Bruce, Steven, Scott, DAC Poet, Randy, Chaz, Live to Fly. Hey, you guys, all jumping in the chat. Thank you for being here, everybody. We got our regulars. If you're new to this live stream, stick around. Grab your guitar, grab a capo. You're going to need a capo. We're going to learn some stuff. We're going to play some stuff. We're going to talk about some stuff. As usual, I'm here for your questions. Put your questions in the chat with a bunch of question marks in advance. And that's how I know your question is aimed at me. If you're watching this live, no ads. Woohoo! If you're watching this later, I know you got to deal with a couple of ads. I get it. I know it's not fun, but thank you for your patience. All right. We're going to get into some learning stuff in about, I'm going to say 30 seconds. Today's show is going to also involve some fun updates. What are Ringo and Paul up to? What are the Rolling Stones up to? A great meme from The Onion. An update on the Bobcat situation here in Connecticut. I know you've been waiting for it. Here's something. Who just rock and rolled at the Kentucky Derby? Anybody check out the Kentucky Derby entertainment? We're going to talk about that a little bit. Something very cool happened, in my opinion, at the Kentucky Derby. We have a student quote of the week, 2 play-along songs of the week, and they are 2 great songs. So stick around for those. In fact, because we have 2, we'll be doing one of them sooner than later. But hey, Roger, thanks for joining us. DAC Poet, you did a recital today. Tell us all about it. I want to hear about what your recital involved. Let's get right into some learning stuff. DAC Poet says, in the middle of playing my first piece, a little girl, 3 years old, said, I don't like it. It kind of threw me off, but I kept playing. Yeah, I'm so sorry that happened to you. But you know what? You got a story out of it. And sometimes the stories are worth as much, potentially even more than the performance itself. Let's say it's an equal value. You got to have the stories, right? Anybody know that song, The Stories We Could Tell? I learned that song from a Tom Petty record, but I believe John Sebastian from the Lemon Spoonful wrote a great song called The Stories We Could Tell. Ooh, someday we'll do that for a play-along song. Hey, Joseph, checking in from Oklahoma City. All right. Hey, you guys, let's get right into some learning stuff. A feature I call WTF, a weekly teaching feature. Here it comes. This is something that we did a while back, and I wanted to bring it back because it's something that I like. I'm pretty sure you liked it. A lot of my in-person students do this with me, and they like it. So let's talk about this. Joseph, hey, thanks for checking in. Joseph G. We got Joseph M. and Joseph G. Thanks for being here, you guys. On your screen at the moment, right now or very soon, you will see a little document, a lesson plan I call Beginner Lead Guitar Fills. Don't you want to be the kind of player who's strumming chords, but when the time is right, you go, what do we have the first? You know, you put in that nice little, lead guitar feel. Don't you want to be that kind of person? I want to maintain my ability to do stuff like that, and teaching it to you is how I maintain my ability to do that. So let's talk about that. This backdrop is going to bug me unless I fix it. Okay, beginner lead guitar fills. What we're about to do is one of these that I did. This one is in the key of G. I also have it in the key of C and the key of F, I believe. But okay, let's get down to it. What do you need? At the top of the page, the most important scale you'll ever learn on the guitar. Many of you know this scale already. The pentatonic scale, which is both the G major pentatonic scale, which is what we're going to refer to it as in today's weekly teaching feature segment, but it's also known as the E minor pentatonic scale. We're not going to get into the nitty-gritty as to why Every pentatonic scale has two identities, a major identity and a minor identity. But at the moment, I want you to know that it's a very good thing that you can get twice the use out of one scale. Okay, so we're going to call it a G major pentatonic scale. If you know that scale, I'm curious, which fingers do you use? You should be using only 2 of your fretting hand fingers. Do you have a plan? Do you always use your first 2 fingers? That's what I'm going to recommend. Middle finger on the 3rd fret notes, index on the 2nd fret notes. Many people sort of intuitively use their middle and ring fingers. Nothing wrong with that. I'm a fan of, in general, anybody's confidence in using their ring finger. I'm a fan of that. If you feel confident, yeah, use your ring finger. Okay. No matter what, I'm going to generally encourage you at the top of the page there to execute that scale with your first 2 fingers, middle finger, 3rd fret notes, index finger, 2nd fret notes, alternate picking with your picking hand. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. That group of notes, that's going to be our source for the fills that we're going to sneak in between the chord strumming, okay? So no matter what, you want to practice that scale, you want to memorize it, you want to make a commitment. Whatever 2 fingers you're going to use those 2 fingers always. Certainly, like if you're focused on this page, commit to whatever 2 fingers you're going to use and use those 2 fingers for that scale. Okay. I'm going to stop talking and just play what I wrote there. And what I might do, there, I'm going to look at that one. Okay, here comes line 2 and 3. And I might even repeat these a couple of times. Line 2 in a G chord. It's going to sound like this. I'm at the beginning now, G, E minor. And if that last 2 at the bottom of the page, that sounds like a weird note to end on. Yeah, it sounds unresolved. If you've played it 10 times and you need a break, don't end on that 2. End on a G chord. You won't regret it. Okay, so questions, comments. You might notice I did a lot of hammer-ons and pull-offs. That's what those little rainbow curvy symbols look like, right? Connecting the 0s and the 2s. But up above are also down, up, down indications where you can't have both, right? Either it's a hammer-on or it's a picked note. So why does this have both? It is not a typo. I encourage you to do it both ways, okay? And we'll talk about that more, but that's why it's written the way it is. So as always, I'm assuming that some of you are good to go on this and you're like, I got it. Great. And some of you are, asking, wait, what are all those numbers? And many of you are somewhere in between. That's what I expect anyways. What makes this live stream interesting and challenging for me is I can't see you. So I feel like I'm, straddling a couple of worlds. That's okay. Keeps things interesting. So we got 2 strums on a G chord. Guess what? Finger that G chord however you want. I don't even care for once. However you feel like doing a G chord. In this context, it just doesn't matter that much. But once you do those 2 down strums on the G chord, the fill that we're about to do is going to have a rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat rhythm. I chose that rhythm very specifically because it's easy to remember, but it sounds great. Rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat. Okay, anybody can remember that. But from the audience's point of view, it's a great sound. Easy to understand, but impressive in its own way. Okay, so what's happening after the 2 down strums? I'm going to do this with hammer-ons and pull-offs. I'm not going to do that down, up, down picking that it says up above. So at the moment, ignore that down, up, down picking. Okay, a D string, a hammer-on from 0 to 2. I'm going to use my middle finger. You can use whatever finger you want, just like I said with the scale up above. I'm going to choose to use my middle finger. Even if I use my index finger for that note up above, all bets are off, okay? That was simply to get you to execute that scale well. Down here, you have a little more freedom as to what fingers you use. Okay, I'm gonna do it with my middle finger, hammer on 4th string 0 to 2, and then the 3rd string open. That's my rat-a-tat. That's the first rat-a-tat. You could do it with a down, up, down, down on the 0, up on the 2, down on the open 3rd string. In fact, you could mix and match. You could do that first rat-a-tat one way and this second one another way. Here's the second one. I just did that as a pull-off from 2 down to 0. I'm just, essentially, I'm letting go with my middle finger, but I'm giving the tiniest bit of a tug with my flesh as I let go. I want to make sure that that pull-off is effective, meaning audible. Now, those of you who are experimenting with pulling off right now, if you commit too much of your flesh and tug too hard, it's going to sound kind of dorky and it's going to slow you down. If you simply lift your finger off the string, the sound might just disappear in an unsatisfying way. I get it. There are two solutions to pull-offs where the sound just disappears. Number one, don't worry about it. That's a good solution. And get right on to the next note. The pull-off note almost becomes like a ghost note. It's there, but it's not there. But it happens so fast the listener doesn't have time to analyze it. You know, you could also do this as a down, up, down. Rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat. Oh, so the second, my second piece of advice. The first one was don't worry about how loud it is. Just get to the third note as fast as possible, right? My other piece of advice is give it a tiniest bit of a twang with the flesh of your finger, whatever finger you're using. Like I said, I'm using my middle finger. But don't waste too much time on it. Number one, it's going to slow you down. Number two, don't you want to play this fast, right, in the future? The more of your flesh you commit to that twanging, that pull off, you'll never get as fast as you want to go. Okay, so again, the G measure, 2 down strums on the G chord. Down, up, down, down, up, down. Or hammer on, pull off. I'm gonna do it again. And rhythmically, keep reminding yourself, rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat. That rhythm is going to be consistent for all of these. Here comes the E minor. I'm going to do the E minor with down, up, down picking. Rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat, E minor. Again, E minor. These zeros and twos that I've been playing, these little fills, again, they come from that scale up above. We're in the key of G major, take my word for it, and the G major pentatonic is absolutely the best and most convenient and most popular source of notes if you want to do some cool little lead guitar fills in between your chords. Moving on, the C chord at the bottom of the page. This time for the fun of it, I'm going to do hammer-ons on the rat-a-tats. That's a cool sound, right? Again, it sounds unresolved. We're waiting for something to happen. The D chord is going to start the resolution process. Okay, so ask me a question. Somebody asked me a question. I need to know you guys are out there. When the chat goes quiet, you guys know I assume that's because you're all working. Your hands are busy. You don't have time to ask me a question. You understand it and you're working on it and life is good. But I need to know you're out there. I need to hear you breathing, you know. Is this a famous song? No. Does it resemble famous songs? Yes, in this sense. Many, many, many songs, including many of your favorite songs, are built on G, E minor, C, and D chords in some order, right? They don't have to be in this order, but in some order, yeah. So in that sense, this is preparing you to do guitar fills in lots of songs. You know, you don't have to do the rat-a-tat rhythm. You don't have to do this exact thing at all. But you want to have that ability to strum chords and then put in fills. By the way, what I wrote here is very much an exercise. I mean, clearly there's a pattern, right? 2 strums, and then you write into a fill over and over again, right? In reality, if you're a tasteful accompanist, you're more likely to only do the chord strumming while the singer is singing, and the singer's singing on a C chord, and then the singer's singing over a D chord, but then the singer stops singing, and before it's time to go to the G chord, you throw in a little, and then the singer starts singing on the G chord. You know what I mean? But in a lesson plan like this, we want to accelerate your experience by making every measure a combination of chord strumming and a fill, right? But in general, you don't want to play over the singer, and you have to choose your opportunities wisely, right? If you are the singer, that's, there's a huge advantage to singing and playing and being the center of everything. You have so much control. For all the pressures of the spotlight, so to speak, and the band, whoever, they're relying on you to keep everything going, to keep it all together. There are advantages, and if you're the only musician, then you have even more freedom, right? If you're playing and singing, if you're a one-person band, so to speak, Randy assures me that you guys are still here, you're having fun. Okay, good. The document you are looking at is available on my website, song-bike.com. You can become a member for $10 and access 100, I don't even know how many, 150 documents like this. Okay, you get the idea. So we're going to move on in a second. We did that thing before, this particular lesson plan. We did it before. Why are we doing it again? It's been a while. It's been a while, and it's worth it. That's my sales pitch. It's been a while, and it's worth it. Okay, I'm downloading some photos and some different things. Okay, no, not that one. But if you're good with this, I'm going to stop sharing that document. Okay, you guys good with that? All right. Now that you're warmed up, let's give you a little break. Let's talk about a few things. Oops, here we go here. I want to share something with you guys, and I'm going to pull it up here. There we go. Let's see what this is. Oh yeah, okay. This is a good one. I've been meaning to share this one with you guys, and somehow it got away from me last week. That's what I'm looking at. Okay. Excellent. Many of you know the satirical news source, so to speak, called The Onion. I'm a big fan of The Onion. And I remember The Onion back when it was an actual little newspaper that would show up for free right near the guitar shop I used to work at. Every Thursday around lunchtime, they'd drop off a big stack of Onion newspapers. I'd walk next door. There's a video rental place that had a stack of Onion newspapers. On Thursday at lunchtime, I'd go over there, grab the Onion, go back to the guitar shop and laugh my head off. My poor boss. I would just laugh till I cried. And rarely did he ask me to tell him what was so funny. He knew I was reading The Onion. And so I've continued to follow The Onion on social media, and look what they posted recently on their social media page. In case you're listening to this and not watching it, it's an image of a gentleman playing the guitar with the headline, "Man finally good enough at new hobby to understand how bad he is at it." Does that feel familiar? It just may feel familiar. Sure does feel familiar to me. So now, like a lot of humor, there's a grain of truth here, or more than one grain of truth. But you can tell from, you can see from my point of view, there's a lot to unpack with this. So have you ever felt this way? That, yeah, you're making progress on the guitar a little bit, and that only opens your eyes to how far you have to go. Does that ring a bell? By the way, let me know if your screen is dark and you do not see this image on your screen, but hopefully you guys are all seeing this from the Onion. Okay, so why do I want to take a minute and talk about this? Number one, if you feel this way, you're not alone. We all feel this way, right? You begin to realize, wow, I can play a couple of chords. I'm getting somewhere. I can make maybe just master the F chord, maybe B7. By the way, we're going to need B7 later tonight. So I'll brush up on your B7s in case you're not sure how to play B7. Now's the time to research it and start playing your B7 cowboy chord. So yeah, you're getting better at chords. Say, maybe you can even play bar chords. Like, I can play a bar chord. And then someone says, oh, well, can you play 4 bar chords in a row over and over again at this speed? Because that's how the song goes. Like, oh, man, you just, you're good enough to understand that you're still not where you want to be. Can make you crazy, right? But there's a lot of philosophizing we could do based on this one, innocent little joke at our expense. Let's focus on the fact that, the gentleman in this picture is finally good enough at his instrument. He's making some progress. He can do some stuff. He just realizes, oh man, how about the moment when you realize you can execute what you need to execute, but you can't do it anywhere nearly as fast as the actual song? That's pretty humbling, right? The image I like to use in a lot of lessons is, imagine you're tunneling out of prison with a spoon, right? You're digging. Let's not get into why you're in prison. But that spoon is not getting you very far. But you're tunneling, right? You don't know, but you might be closer to getting out of prison than you think. You might be, right? Anybody remember the Far Side cartoon where some guys are tunneling out of prison, and what they don't know is they're like a few more shovels, a few more spoonfuls, and they're right under the ocean. But the prisoner says to the other guy, oh man, I think we're almost there. I just felt a drop of water. I digress. All right, so a lot to unpack here. So I want to throw this your way. Know that you're not alone. It never really ends, but there are moments when you can finally do this one thing and it actually sounds like music, or maybe you can play lots of things that sound like music, but the one thing you've been working on, that finally starts to sound like music. The one hard thing you've been working on, that chord change, that lead guitar riff. And you know what? Some of my students expressed to me simply remembering where the repeat signs are sending you. Go back to the repeat sign on the first page, flip ahead to the coda at the end of the song, all that stuff. That is an extremely common source of stress for many, many, many of my students. So that's another hurdle to get over, lots to talk about. So we'll come back to this notion. I'm going to stop sharing this right now, but we'll come back to this concept often, I imagine. Okay, there you go. Thank you, the Onion. All right, moving on. Let me see if this is one. Yeah, there we go. Who wants a Bobcat update? Many live streams ago, maybe 3. I just happened to mention that something new around here is more Bobcats than usual. Some of us weren't aware that we even had a whole lot of Bobcats in Connecticut, but now we have more. They're going public. They're not as shy as they used to be, I guess. So everyone's talking about Bobcats. Well, sure enough, I think it was just a few days after our live stream, this popped up, and I thought, oh, I got to share that with you guys. So what you're seeing on the screen is a local library, you know, having a free program to educate us all about bobcats, bobcats in Connecticut. So yeah, CLS is checking in from Central New Jersey. Hello, CLS. Thanks for being here. So yeah, so there's your update. And by update, I mean, it's not just me thinking there's more bobcats around. When a public library gets involved and they're trying to educate us, you know it's an issue, right? They're doing that for the benefit of all of us. So I don't know, any other people out there dealing with bobcats or simply new wildlife where you are that wasn't there before, or at least as far as you knew it wasn't there before. My neighborhood is the same as everybody's neighborhood. We have a variety of critters that come and go. They don't always get picked up on doorbell cameras and things like that, but sometimes they do. And it really depends on the time of year and all that kind of stuff. Okay, one more thing before we get back into learning guitar stuff. On your screen, you will soon see something that's been on my mind from an Instagram page that I really enjoy called Lost Found Art New York. That's a big old violin. It's a fat fiddle is what it is. On your screen, you're seeing, this is a real thing, from 1874. A long story short, a violin maker was experimenting with with different sizes. It's like a violin on steroids. How big is that actual thing? I think it's pretty darn big. I think that's, that's one of those, like a stand-up bass, like an upright bass. That is pretty funky. I do not think you are looking at an AI image or a joke. That was someone's experiment. I'm going to put a link for more information about this. It's a Violino Harpa Forma Maxima. Yeah, I'm sure there's a whole lot of maxima. From 1874, a rare experimental instrument made by Viennese luthier Thomas Zach. And hey, feel free to Google it if you're so inclined. Thomas Z-A-C-H from Vienna, 1874, a Violino Harpa Forma Maxima. I thought of you guys. I saw that. I'm not even know what to say, but I figured I'd share it with you. Hey, Joe is talking about a huge bobcat crossed in front of your car. Joe, you're here in Connecticut, right? Yeah. A huge bobcat crossed in front of your car. You say, I always thought they were on the small side. Me too. So how huge is huge? What do you mean by huge? Like, say, a German Shepherd, that kind of size, or even bigger than that? Holy moly. Okay, stop sharing that Harpa Maxima. Check. Now, you know what? I think now is a great time to get into our first play-along song of the night. I'm going to check off a few things so I remember that we did it. Hey, tell a friend about what we're doing here on Saturdays. And you can tell your friend you don't have to watch on Saturday. You can watch it anytime, right? But Saturdays, 5 p.m. Eastern. We've done 137, but you guys know I have a playlist of these, right? So you can go to my YouTube channel and click on playlists. And one of the playlists is called the Guitar Q&A Livestream. And all of these, that's how I know that we're coming up on our anniversary. I think in the next few days, we'll be coming up on our 2-year anniversary. Holy cow. Maybe next week we'll do something extra special to celebrate that. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're about to get into our first play-along song of the night. Hold on a second here. Want to get my various show and tell things handy. All right. Our first play-along song of the night. We got that one. Okay, I'm going to have to send it to myself. From the pen, Bob Dylan. I'm a big Bob Dylan fan, and maybe you are too. Please put your capo at the 2nd fret. Capo at 2. We are about to play that song. Okay, make sure you guys can see it. Okay, our first play-along song of the night. Here it comes. All right, there we go. The song called Positively 4th Street from Bob Dylan. On your screen, you see or will see some fine print. Now, to get all the lyrics on and the chords stuff, I had to make this a little bit small. I'm going to zoom in a minute, so don't freak out if this is a little bit tricky for you to see. Joe says it was about the size of a German Shepherd. I wouldn't mess with that Bobcat. I'd loan him a capo if he asked. Okay, so capo at the 2nd fret. Jonathan, you do it too. All right, I'm doing it. Positively 4th Street from Bob Dylan. You know, there should be a name for songs. I don't know if there is a name where the title of the song never appears in the song. I feel like Led Zeppelin is sort of the king of this. And someone says the title and you have no idea what they're talking about, but as soon as you hear the song, you think, oh, that song, right? So, but I've never heard if there's a name for that. There should be. And this is one of those songs. Capo at the 2nd fret. E, A minor, we're going to talk about that, and B7, 4 chords. How do I pick songs for our live stream? Small number of chords, easy chords, easy strumming pattern, famous song. This tune checks all those boxes. Okay, so instead of talking so much, I'm just going to show you what we're going to do. I got my capo at 2, I got my E chord. Here's how we're basically going to play in a minute. You've got a lot of nerve to say you are my friend. When I was down, you just stood there grinning. You know what? I'm gonna call it audible. I'm gonna do it without the capo. You need the capo to play along with Bob. You don't need a capo to play along with me. I'm gonna sing it just a little bit lower. Yeah, you're welcome. It'll sound better. Okay, so no capo. Capo only if you're going to play along with his original, which I do want you to do down the road. Okay. If you can play the first line, and of course you can, that's the whole song. The first line is all you need to master to play the song. Let's talk about your fretting hand for a second. E major, easy peasy. A major, A minor. Now, don't go changing how you do A major to make it more convenient to get to A minor. It's just not worth it. I know some of you, I know it. Some of you are like, wait, if I do A minor with my middle ring and pinky, then I only have to change one finger to get to A minor. Yeah, but it's not, I don't know. I wouldn't go to that trouble. But I'd understand if if you thought that, or if you see why I'm bringing it up, it's a cool thing to consider. You always want to consider how can you make your job easier. But I personally would not recommend it. It's just not that hard to go from A major to A minor. No big deal. B7. I hope you got your B7 going on. Is it a hard chord? Only because it uses 4 fingers. But there's no crazy stretches or anything. B7, no fat 6th string. For those of you who are not 100% sure how to do B7, 5th string, middle finger, 2nd fret. Index finger, 4th string, 1st fret. Ring finger, 3rd string, 2nd fret. I'm going to pause there. Your fingers make a nice little triangle shape. And I think that's a helpful image when it comes to remembering and matching the chord. Finally, pinky, skinny string, 1st fret. Oh, skinny string, 2nd fret. Okay, that's your fretting hand. Strumming, gentle down ups. Bob is not doing some fancy schmancy strum pattern. I would go as far as to say this song is driven by drums, organ, bass, but it's not a guitar. You know, the guitar is not doing something that's so distinctive that you and I have to talk about it. Okay, so, but we are going to talk about it. What I recommend. 4 light down ups. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm holding the pick very loosely. My upstrokes are glancing off maybe 2 or 3 strings tops. You've got a lot of nerve to say you are my friend. Okay, just nice light down ups. The sequence that is underlined, only 2 down ups per chord. E, E7. That's why it's underlined. Then you go back to 4 down ups. By the way, it's 4 down ups every time you see the name of a chord. So at the end of line 1 where it says B7 and then B7 again, yeah, I put it twice intentionally. So it's 8 down ups total. You okay with that? Okay, so how about if we do the first line? Because if you can play the first line, you can play the whole thing. Let's do the first line, you and me together, slowly, and then we'll take a pause, and then we'll do the song for real. 2, 3, 4. You've got a lot of nerve to say you are my friend. When I was down, you just stood there grinning. Are you holding your pick loosely? Are you keeping your arm relaxed? Until you get that sequence memorized, you're going to have to just trust your hands to do what they're doing, right? As soon as possible, you want to memorize that sequence so you can focus on your fretting, hand changing chords, right? That's a challenge for a lot of songs. The strumming can be repetitive, simple, straightforward. It's all the chord changing, you know? So let's take the song a little bit slower. For those of you who just arrived, when doing this without a capo, to play along with the actual recording and put the capo on. By the way, we're playing in the key of E major. With a capo on, it would sound like the key of F sharp major. I would take a educated guess that Bob Dylan himself is, you know, on the original recording, is using a capo to play this. Who wants to play in the key of F sharp major? It's just not worth it. You know, there's no bragging rights is all you get. Like, yeah, man, I'm playing my, you know, but I would guess that he probably capoed up. Why not? Why not? Okay. Now, I said I was going to make this bigger, and then I didn't. Can you guys read this okay? I can make it a little bit. You know what I'm going to do? Maybe you guys aren't stressed out about this at all, but yeah, there we go. How about that? All right. I'm ready if you're ready. I'm just going to pull up. I think I can see my copy better. A little bit. All right, you ready? The song does have an intro. If I had to guess, I should have checked into the intro is either just strumming on the E chord or maybe it's an E-A back and forth kind of thing. We're going to start right on the lyric, right on the verse. I'll see you on the other side. 2, 3, 4. You've got a lot of nerve to say you are my friend. When I was down, you just stood there grinning. You've got a lot of nerve to say you got a helping hand to lend. You just want to be on the side that's winning. You say I let you down. You know it's not like that. If you're so hurt, why then don't you show it? You say you lost your faith, but that's not where it's at. You had no faith to lose, and you know it. I know the reason that you talk behind my back. I used to be among the crowd you're in with. Do you take me for such a fool to think I'd make contact with the one who tries to hide what I don't know to begin with? You see me on the street You always act surprised. Say, how are you? Good luck. You don't mean it. You know as well as me, you'd rather see me paralyzed. Why don't you just come out once and scream it? No, I do not feel that good. I see the heartbreak you embrace. If I was a master thief, perhaps I'd rob them. Now I know you're dissatisfied with your position and your place. But don't you understand? It's not my problem. I wish that for just one time you could stand inside my shoes. And just for that one moment, I could be you. Yes, I wish that for just one time you could stand inside my shoes. You know what a drag it is to see you. Okay, so a couple of things. You might have noticed there are a few moments on the B7s towards the end. Instead of those nice gentle down ups, I did the same rhythm, the same da 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 da, da same rhythm, but I did it all as downstrokes. A little more intense. It builds up the drama, right? Before it finally goes to E. All right, so you're allowed to do that. I was trying to work in a little fill on some of the B7s. What a drag it is to see you. I don't love it, but it's a start. Middle finger on the 5th string. I was doing a hammer-on with a downstroke, and then upstroke on the 4th string. This is during the B7 chord. I don't know. It's a little. The band quote is on a B7 chord, so it's it's nice to put in something that reflects a B7. Literally, these are notes in there. It's a way to dress up a B7 chord. Drag it is to see you. So you know how B7 shows up twice every time at the end of each line? The first time through, you could do the 4 down ups. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the second time through, I don't know, a little something. What else did I want to point out? I didn't commit to it, but at one point, again, I broke away from that gentle folky strumming. You could, instead of just 4 down ups, you could on the first downstroke hit the root note in the case of an E chord 6th string. You've got a lot of nerve. I'm exaggerating it, but say you are my friend. I'm hitting it extra hard so it's audible. But that would be a way to make the whole thing a little more sophisticated. You've got a lot of nerve to say you are my friend. I'm still doing 4 down ups. The very first down is I'm isolating a specific bass note. 6th string for the E's, 5th string for the A or the A minor or the B7. It's a simple, repetitive way to just sound better, right? as much as I like the gentle, if you're the only musician and there's nothing else going on, that can get a little tiresome, right, from the audience's point of view. Nothing wrong with it, but as a tune moves on, it might be nice to have something else. Okay, let's talk about the music theory here real quick, because this has one of my favorite things. Anyone know what I'm about to say? The A minor. What's the A minor doing there? We're in the key of E. A minor is not a diatonic chord. A minor has the note C. The key of E has C sharps. What the heck? Playing the 4 chord as a minor. Personally, I associate this with In My Life by the Beatles, because I'm 90-something% sure that's the first time I heard that sound, having no idea that I would be talking about it X number of decades later. But that weird minor sound, so to speak, in My Life by the Beatles, that's what you're hearing. You're hearing the 4 chord played as a minor. So what am I talking about? This song is in the key of E, at least the way we're playing it without a capo, it's in the key of E. Therefore, the E chord is nicknamed the 1 chord. E, F, G, A. The A chord is nicknamed the 4 chord. The A chord is typically a major chord. That's how it's supposed to be. When I say diatonic, that means it's abiding by the rules. And the rules say the 4 chord should be a major chord. Got it. Okay. When a songwriter turns it into a minor chord, it creates a very cool effect, and that's what you're hearing right there. So whether you want to call it breaking the rules, or I think a better way I've heard described is we're borrowing the A minor from outside the key, and it creates effect. Because breaking rules, it makes it sound like, well, what's the point of rules if songwriters just break them? And so that's to me, that's not a helpful way to put it. I mean, it's an extremely common songwriter thing to do, so it's clearly not breaking any rules. It's just adding a new chord to create a certain effect, So I want to bring your attention to that. Now, there's lots of songs that do this, but for me, it'll always be a Beatles thing, So there you go. The 4 chord as a minor. Those of you who are songwriters, I highly encourage you to do that. Hey, I'm going to stop sharing this. Sheryl Crow does this song, and oh no, Sheryl Crow does. Never mind. That's the next play along song. We'll talk about that later. I was just thinking about different keys. Okay, did I make it clear enough that for you to play along with the original song, you got to put a capo on the 2nd fret? You guys good with that? All right, I'll stop. I'll stop dwelling on that. Scott says, that's one of the first songs that got me into Bob Dylan many years ago. There you go. Randy says, great song. Thanks. Yeah, fun, right? As you guys know, I'm a big Bob Dylan fan, but we don't do too many of his songs as play-along songs because there's so many other great songs out there, and I don't want to overdo it, but for sure it's been a while since we've done a Bob Dylan song. Okay, that is the first of 2 play-along songs tonight, so don't go anywhere. Now, what else do we have handy? We're going to do another weekly teaching feature. Ooh, but before we get into any more teaching stuff, student quote of the week. Had a great student quote of the week this week. And it came in just under the wire. My last student on Friday night, it was actually a makeup lesson. She sits down. I'm going to say she's about 7 years old, maybe 8 years old. Sits down and said, how's your Friday going? She said, oh, this is a good day. I said, it's a good day. How come it's a good day? She said, well, I got guitar today. We had a substitute teacher, and they gave us popsicles at school. Now she has her priorities right. So yeah, so that is the student quote of the week. She had guitar lesson, popsicles, and a sub. Yeah, man. Remember those days? Substitute teacher. Woohoo. I'm not sure what was up with the popsicles, but she might not have been clear on why she got popsicles either, but yeah, that's the student quote of the week. All right, a little segment I call Killer 45s. Now, this might be the last one of these because I got my bin, my little container of 45s, and we're getting towards the end. But I'll make this fast. Why are we doing this? In case any of these tunes bring back some memories. And what else am I going to do these 45s? Apparently I was on Eagles kick, and I have 2 Eagles 45s from back in the day. We have The Long Run and Heartache Tonight. I paid good money for these 2 songs, The Long Run and Heartache Tonight. To this day, I will use Heartache Tonight to illustrate the concept of a shuffle beat. Gonna be a heartache tonight. The shuffle, sometimes called the swing kind of feeling. The only problem is not everybody knows the song Heartache Tonight. And yet, I guess I must have heard it at just the right age that it just is, to me, it's one of the great examples of a song with the shuffle feeling. A heartache tonight. I don't know. Some more killer 45s. Johnny Rivers, Sway into the Music. What a great song. What else? I paid good money for the theme from New York, New York. Frank Sinatra, Start Spreading the News. Oh boy. I don't know why I got this one, because I think we had the LP record. But from Fleetwood Mac, You Make Lovin' Fun. But on the other side is Gold Dust Woman. And so you tell me which was the A side and which was the B side. And I couldn't tell you. One thing that's making me crazy about these 45s is I really expect a big capital A to distinguish what the A side is. And am I crazy? Didn't they used to put that's how you knew what the A side was. It was a big capital A. None of these have that. So who knows? Who knows whether Gold Dust Woman was the A side or You Make Lovin' Fun was the A side? I don't know. Oh, I remember this was a special order. I had to have this one from the Beach Boys, Good Vibrations. Had to have that. From the Beach Boys, California Girls. Oh boy. Check out this cool car image from Don McLean. American Pie. But American Pie Part 1, if you want to hear the rest of the song, you had to flip it over. The B side was American Pie Part 2. It took a lot of patience to get through a song like that, I guess. Barry Manilow, Can't Smile Without You. Oh, what a great song. Okay, we're getting towards the end. Don't go anywhere. I Want You to Want Me. Cheap Trick. Sure. This was a little bit later in my my life. From Fleetwood Mac again, the song called Tusk. Yeah. Okay, now we're talking. We're getting down. We're hitting pay dirt. Don't go anywhere. These. Oh yeah, we're hitting pay dirt here. This will be the last. Okay, these will be the last. We got 5 left. I'm going to save a good one for the end. Okay. I'm going to save a meaningful one for the end. All right. From the Bee Gees, Love You Inside and Out, or just Love You Inside Out. From the Blues Brothers, Rubber Biscuit. How is that a thing? I don't know. Rubber Biscuit from the Blues Brothers. I'm pretty sure this was a special order from the local record store. Aerosmith, Dream On. We're getting there. We're getting there. From the Beatles, Let It Be. And what was on the B side of Let It Be? The B side of Let It Be was You Know My Name, Look Up the Number. Okay, drum roll, please. The last 45. And boy, I thought this song made a lasting impression on me. I wish I could say I was joking. I was haunted by this song. I couldn't stop thinking about this song because it was so heavy. This song, drum roll, keep that drum roll going. This song was voted the most disliked #1 song. Don't quote me on that, but I swear I read that somewhere. I said, no, not this song. How could, oh man. The song is, you ready? Seasons in the Sun by Terry Jacks. Oh, when I heard this song, the song came along with the information from somebody that I heard I heard that he wrote this song as he was dying. I'm like 6 years old. You guys know Seasons in the Sun? We had joy, we had fun, we had Seasons in the Sun. Goodbye, Michelle, it's hard to die. Oh my God. Okay. That concludes our segment called Killer 45s. There you go. Woo! Seasons in the Sun. That was a heavy song. I just couldn't wrap my head around the message, the whole thing. Oh my God, you know. Charlie says, for Seasons in the Sun, regarding, Charlie, you're talking about Ode to Billy Joe. I see you put that in the, I thought you put that in the chat. Are you talking about Ode to Billy Joe that was on your AM car radio, or are we talking about Seasons in the Sun? Which one are you talking about? I don't have the 45 for Ode to Billy Joe. That's another powerful tune. But what's powerful about Ode to Billy Joe is what's unsaid, right? Like, what the hell? They thrown off the bridge, you know? Oh, wait, now I have to check. Scott, now, you might be correct, Scott, but on my copy of Seasons in the Sun, the flip side is not does not put the bone in. Although I take your I take your word for it. If you go away is the flip side for this copy on Flashback Records. Charlie Beagle, you're saying that O.J. Billy Joe was all over the radio for a while. Yeah, I believe it. What can you do? What can you do? I don't know. What can you do? Hey, let's do another weekly teaching feature. The one I'm going to pick. Let's see. We did the beginner league guitar class. Oh, here's a fun one. Stand by. Lighten the mood. Let's lighten the mood a little bit. A lesson plan that I always got a kick out of. And we all did this. We might have done this a long time ago, like way back when. And oh, come on, how do I not have this ready to go? But it's under the nope, it's not. That's okay. I'll track it down. You know what? I'll move to another one, and then I'll look for that one later. Ooh, let's do something with some chords, man. TUV up the neck chords. Is this the one? I'm choosing between a few different ones here. Yeah, why not? Ooh, and what we're about to do is going to tie in with our second play along song. Is it a coincidence? Was it meant to be? I don't know. Our second weekly teaching feature of the night, a worksheet that is available to you on my website, but it's also available to you right this second. It's on the screen right there. Up the neck chords. Okay, so here's what's going on. Chris, I'm laughing. CLS Crate posted, there's a parody song to Ode to Billy Joe called Ode to Billy Joel. Tell me, is that Weird Al? That sounds like a Weird Al kind of thing. But I'm going to have to Google that later. I love it. I love it so much. Anybody check out that New York Times list of the best 30 songwriters of all time? What a provocative list. I'm sure they knew, people who care about such things were going to freak out over whoever they chose to be the 30 best songwriters of all time. This is maybe a week, less than 2 weeks ago, the New York Times ran this story, the best 30 songwriters of all time. And not surprisingly, they're talking about songwriters writing in the English language, mainly in the United States. Okay, so up the neck chords worksheet. We all want to be that person who can go up and down the neck doing anything, right? Anything. There's an extreme practicality towards regarding what you're looking at right there. There's a reason why I group together G, C, and D, and the second line C, F, and G. You're going to be in many situations, if you haven't already been in many situations, where someone else is going to be strumming chords, and they've got the chords. They've got G, C, and D. They've got it. it does not sound twice as good if you exactly mimic what they're doing. Instead, you play G, C, and D up the neck. It sounds way better than if you just mimicked what they did. In fact, you don't even have to strum it the same way they do. You can do whatever you want with your picking strumming. Bottom line, though, is you're still playing the same chords that they are. You're playing the up the neck version. I've been known to call these bite-sized versions, like bite-sized candy bars on Halloween. So let's just take a look at that first one. G up the neck, C up the neck, and D up the neck. If you're not careful, the G and C are going to sound alike because they both include the E string 3rd fret. So it's up to you to make sure the listener hears what's not similar between the two chords. For better for worse, this whole page starts off with essentially the same challenge that the F chord presents, almost. See that G334, right? Very beginning. Please don't do that with 2 separate fingers. I know one of you is doing it right now. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's better just to work on getting your index finger to grab both of them. Roll that index finger onto its edge a little bit. The skin on the side of the index finger. Which side of your index? The side that's closest to your thumb. Bring your left elbow, your fretting arm elbow in towards the guitar a little bit. Grab both of those notes. Before you add any other fingers, just test those out. Make sure you've got them. And then arch over your middle finger to get that final note 4 on the 3rd string. Okay? Now, whether or not you're great at that G, don't worry. Now you know that that's a G chord. Essentially, it's an F chord up 2 frets. Knowledge is power. And sometimes knowledge precedes your skills by a lot. That's okay. It's okay. Now you have the knowledge, right? Essentially, an F grip up 2 frets is a G. Now, this next one, this C355, easy peasy. I'll tell you right now, there's a few dozen of you watching. Most of you are not doing it with your ring and pinky, and that is okay. I see it if not every day, every week for sure. People just reach up with their middle and ring to get the 5 on the 2nd string and 5 on the 3rd string. That's great. That's not a problem. It's not a bad thing by any means. But it is a stretch. Your ring and pinky are a more practical combination. If you're not confident about combining your ring and pinky to get the 5 on the 2nd string and 5 on the 3rd string, get confident. It's not an excuse, you know. So I play it with my index, 1st string 3, pinky, 2nd string 5, ring, 3rd string 5. Now you're done. You know why? Because the D chord is the same thing up 2 frets. C and D. In fact, some of you might have already figured out that you can include the open D string, right? It's a D chord. 5, 7, 7 is a D chord, and there's the open D string. In fact, the open A string sounds totally harmonious as well. So now you have a very unique, very cool sounding D chord. Wow, what a great sound. I'm fretting 3 strings, but I'm strumming 5 strings. By the way, you can do that with a C. It wouldn't be called just a C chord anymore, but that's a real Joni Mitchell kind of chord. It's a C chord with the open D string and the open A string. I'm not saying that's what you should do, but I'm just saying, ooh, interesting, right? And then when you glide back up to the D chord, then all is well again. Interesting, interesting. Okay, so I think you get the gist of this page. Everywhere you look are these bite-sized up-the-neck chords. And I believe on this worksheet, it's all majors on this page. And I'm scrolling up here on the 2nd page, we get into adding in some minors to get some cool chord progressions, you know. I'll say this, once you've played a few of these, you can play all of them. Other than that very first G, why did I put that one first? What's up with that? Other than that very first G chord, and that grip which mimics an F chord, right? A lot of these are pretty straightforward. Check out, I'm still in the top line, the G in the second measure, says 787. 787, that's just what feels like a D chord, just up the neck. 787, but it feels like a D chord. If you can play a D chord, you can play that right there. Okay, so there are a couple of takeaways as you pursue this page and imagine adding this page to your practicing. One takeaway is many of the familiar grips that you did way back on day one are the same grips that apply, or they all apply higher up. And some of them are extremely familiar, like a D grip, but higher up, the name changes to G or whatever, right? So that's one takeaway from this. This is how your brain, your brain can learn something even if your fingers aren't great at it yet. That's okay. Another takeaway is simply being aware that you're kind of obligated. I'm saying you're obligated to do something different than your friend, right? If your friend's doing an old-fashioned C chord, then play one of these other Cs, especially if you've had time to prepare. Say you're playing the Bob Dylan song we just did, good old Positively 4th Street. You could get all the chords you need from this worksheet. Take a look at this line right here and put my cursor. You could do the E and the A just like it says right here. When you need the B7 and the A minor, there they are right there at the bottom of page 2 right there. You know what I'm saying? So you could get a great workout. Ooh, and you'd have to put a capo on, which means you'd have to adjust these for the capo. Whoa, capos can throw you off. That could be a tricky one. Okay, but you get what I'm saying, right? Okay, so somebody asked me a question about this document. I chose common chord progressions because that's how you're going to want to use them, right? As opposed to just putting alphabetically. Here's an A chord. Here's an A minor chord. Here's an A7 chord. Here's B major, B minor, B7. It's nice for finding stuff. You could look it up alphabetically, but practicing them in these groups, very practical way to practice them, Up the neck chords, also known as bite-sized chords. Check. Worksheet. Okay, and again, the document you're looking at is available on my website. If it's not already there, I'll certainly put it there, but I think it is already on my website in the PDF section of song-bike.com. So when you should invest in yourself, right? Whether it's learning materials that are like, a book, PDFs, all that kind of stuff. Invest in yourself. How do you invest in yourself? By finding learning material that works for you and buying it. We all win that way. I'm looking at what you guys are saying about other songs. DAC Poet, the songs that you played, I believe, I don't recognize the names of those, but if I remember right, you're playing a nylon string classical guitar. So when you say those songs are songs meant to be played finger style on a nylon string guitar? I'm curious about that. Randy, I'm going to catch up with you guys. Thank you for your super chat. And I saw Chaz, thank you for your super chat. I'm sorry for not saying thank you earlier. I appreciate that, you guys. A classical guitar, DAC Poet. Yeah, nice. Okay, are you ready for our second play-along song? Yeah, of course you are. Okay, stand by. We'll stop sharing that one. The second play-along song of the night. Let me make sure I've got this here. You do not need a capo. So don't worry about that. And you know what? There's not even big hard chords either. Life is good. Downloads, stand by. The song we're about to play. Boom. Our second play-along song of the night. There we go. from the pen of Cat Stevens and covered in a different key by many people, but most recently and most familiarly, Sheryl Crow. First cut is the deepest from Cat Stevens. Oh man, talk about a repetitive tune. Number one, what a great song. Number two, it's almost just the same four chords over and over again with no exceptions, but there are a couple of tiny exceptions. So on your screen in front of you, these are the chords you need to play along with Cat Stevens. And if I don't forget, maybe when this is all over, we'll talk about the intro, because the intro actually completely ties into that up the neck stuff that we just did. Okay, first cut is the deepest. By the way, one of the many cool versions of this was by someone I was not that familiar with, but now I am, P.P. Arnold. P.P. Arnold does a great version of this. And if I have my brain turned on, I will remember to put a link to her version in the, there we go, in the link. Okay, so as usual, let's talk about your two hands. In this song, I do recommend doing G with your middle ring and pinky because there are two, count them, two moments, one in the verse and one in the chorus, where you're going to go from G to C. And so for that reason, I recommend doing G with your middle ring and pinky. Okay, in terms of left hand or fretting hand chords, yeah, G, D, and C, it's a 3-chord song. Almost the entire song is the same as the intro. G for 2 counts, D for 2 counts, C for 2, D for 2, and then it repeats again. Now, you wouldn't know it's only 2 counts from what's written here, but I'm telling you, in the case of what I'm presenting to you here, every time you see a chord name, you're going to give that chord 2 beats. What we're going to do is 2 strums. Giving you all of my heart. Can you do something fancier than that? Yeah, knock yourself out, but we're going to keep it simple. So left hand, if you look down to the 3rd lyric of the verse, that short lyric where it says, try to love again, but I know. See how that C has a line underneath it, a little underline under that C, little underscore? That's my very modest way of calling your attention to that moment, because that moment is the first time in the whole song where the chord sequence breaks out of the pattern. Is it hard? No, it's easy. But in case you got lulled into G, D, C, D, unlull yourself at that moment. Try to love again. You got to make sure it goes G to C and then stays on the D. And the same thing happens, the chorus. The second line of the chorus, comes to being lucky, she's cursed. When it comes to loving me, that moment, she's worst. That's another moment where it goes from G to C, okay? So I know it's a very, it's actually 2, if we were doing an in-person lesson, I'd draw a big red circle around both of those. But that little underline is my way of saying to you, hey, wake up, the sequence is not what you expect. Is it a big deal? No. Would you have done fine if I hadn't even mentioned it? Yes. All right. In terms of strumming, lots of ways to strum it. Nice, boring down strums. I mean that with affection. Giving you all of my heart, but there's someone who's torn it apart. Works great. Could you do something else? Oh yeah, lots of options. And I will I'll run through a couple of those options. Okay, I'll tell you one that I probably will do partway through the tune. You know, a recent thing I've been doing is changing my strumming partway through a tune to show you what can be done, to show you how I might do it if I were performing it as opposed to just teaching it. I'm going to illustrate this on the very first verse. For a moment, I'm just going to stay on the G chord. Let's call this strum pattern number 2. Number 1 is just 2 nice, boring downstrokes every time you see a chord name. Okay, I'm going to stay in the G chord for illustrative purposes. I call this the Boompa Chicka pattern. No, I'm not joking. Yes, you heard right. Boompa Chicka. On a G chord, downstroke on the 6th string, upstroke on the 4th string, got to be an upstroke, and then on the 3 treble strings, a light brush down up. If you only do 2 or if you do 4, don't overthink it. The important thing is it's a brush across multiple strings. Depending on the chord, like say C or D, I will change that first downstroke to the 5th string, like on a C chord. 5-4 strum strum, 5-4 strum strum. On the D, I might do 4-3, or I might do 5-4 on the D. Okay, now that nice boom ba chicka, boom ba chicka, that gives a little personality to this whole thing. Is it tricky to do while you sing? Maybe. But it's an extremely handy pattern to learn in general. Boom ba chicka, boom ba chicka. Okay, what else? If you want to get into the structure of the tune, at the bottom of the page, I just wrote the word chorus. That means you repeat the chorus again. Then the arrangement, it goes back to the intro for half of the intro. G to D to C to D, and then right away it goes back into the chorus, you know, a little dramatic moment. Before I forget, I love the drumming on this song. Not just what the drummer is doing, but also the sound of the drums. Oh, it sounds so good. Okay, let's jump in and do this. And then I'll talk about the actual picking of the intro. For our purpose right now, let's just jump right into the verse. Giving you all of my heart. Okay, right on the verse. I'll see you on the other side. 2, 3. I've given you all of my heart, but there's someone who's torn it apart, and she's taken almost all that I've got. But if you want, I'll try to love again. Maybe I'll try to love again, but I know first cut is the deepest. Baby, I know first cut is the deepest. 'Cause when it comes to being lucky, she's cursed. When it comes to loving me, she's worst. But when it comes to being loved, she's first. That's how I know first cut is the deepest. Baby, I know first cut is the deepest. I still want you by my side, just to help me dry the tears I've cried. 'Cause I'm sure gonna give you a try, and if you want, I'll try to love again. Baby, I'll try to love again, but I know the first cut is the deepest. Baby, I know the first cut is the deepest. 'Cause when it comes to being lucky, she's cursed. When it comes to loving me, she's worst. But when it comes to love, love, she's first. That's how I know first cut is the deepest. Baby, I know the first cut is the deepest. Baby, I know the first cut is the deepest. Baby, I know the first cut is the deepest. The first cut is the deepest. Okay, we'll talk about that intro. I kind of teased at it at the end right there. Questions, comments, thoughts. For the most part, I did what it said on the paper. Pretty sure, for the most part. Okay, let's get right into the intro, because the intro ties into that previous thing we did. Not only is this the intro to the tune, but if I remember right, that actually is continuing on when the verse starts at the beginning of the tune. Okay, so what am I doing? D formation, but up at 7/8/7. It's a G chord. By the way, before I forget, the intro is totally reflecting the chords that it says at the top of the page. Here it says intro, G, D, C, D, G, D, C, D. Okay, but we're doing them up the neck. So D formation, up at 7/8/7. With your pick, or I admit you could use your bare fingers. Third string, second string, first string, second string. If you were using your bare fingers, you could go thumb, index, middle index. Nice, that could work. I'm gonna keep doing it with a pick. Okay, that thing I just did with my pick, you're gonna keep repeating that thing on the same strings, but with different chords. The next chord, the D chord, 5 with your index on the first string, 7/7 on the second and third strings. 5, 7, 7. Hey Sandra, thank you for checking in. Sandra, you're right on time for this intro. Okay, same thing. Third string, second string, first string, second string. That's the D chord. Just glide backwards 2 frets. Don't lift your fingers off. Just glide back 2 frets. That's the C chord. Back up 2 frets for the D chord. I'm going to stop talking for a minute. I'm going to repeat it a few times slowly. I really want to focus on the fretting hand chords because the picking is so clear and repetitive. Third string, second string, first string, second string. So let's focus on the fretting hand. You okay? 7/8/7. What feels like a D chord is actually a G chord. Okay? Middle ring and index, middle, and ring. If you've never done that before, just start off with a D chord, which I bet you have done before. Slide it up until your middle finger's on 7 on the first string, ring finger on 8, and index on 7 on the third string. 7, 8, 7. Now, for many people, the challenge is not that. The challenge is jumping quickly to the next chord. And there's no, in my opinion, there's no shortcut. I call that a leap of faith. When your fretting hand just has to jump for the next chord in the nick of time. There's no trick to it. You just have to practice, practice, practice. The second chord, 5 on the first string with your index. 7 and 7 on the second and third strings. I like to use my ring and pinky, so that's what I recommend. That is a D chord, back 2 frets, 3, 5, 5. That's the C chord, and 5, 7, 7. What I might do, if I were a wise man, that document you're looking at in front of you in that bottom right hand, that big gaping white space right there, I might just write out what I just did right there before I upload it to my website. Because number one is how the song goes. Number two, it's so pretty. If you guys are like my in-person students, it's changing fast enough. That's the hard part. But that's where you want to be. I hate to say it, but that's where you want to be. You want to be at the point where you totally understand what you have to do, and you just can't do it fast enough. As frustrating as that is, that's something to be proud of. That you get it. You know exactly what to do. You don't need me to talk about it anymore. And now you just got to put in the time. Yeah, I know. Hey, Jamie, thank you for your super chat donation. Super chats are how you can support what we do here. That's that $sign at the bottom of the chat, and I thank you in advance. Those of you who want to support the live stream in other ways, it's so easy. You can become a member of my website. You can simply go to my website. You can go to my website and get something for free, the free blues guide. That puts you on my email list, and that makes me feel great. And it's free. Or you can go to my website and get any one of the other learning material things. Like, I don't know, you could go and get your copy of the Strum Pattern Bible. There's lots of stuff for you. Like I said, invest in yourself. You can use the Sweetwater link in the description of this live stream. I think it's already there. Is a Sweetwater affiliate link. Go buy yourself something at Sweetwater. Get yourself a good capo. Get yourself some spare strings. But use that affiliate link, and they send back a little bit of their riches to this channel. So it's a win-win for everybody. You get the new stuff. Sweetwater gets your purchase, and SongBike gets a little bit of that. Lots of ways you can support what we're doing here. And I say thank you in advance. Okay, you guys go to that. I'm going to close that down. Okay, boom. But I have my copy right here. So I probably will use that bottom. One of the ways I benefit from hanging out with you guys and doing this, when all is said and done, I have a document, a lesson plan that I keep a master copy of. Well, I have the paper copy, and then I also have it, saved on my computer. And I can use that with dozens of students, forever. It makes my job so easy. I literally, if I'm talking with an in-person student, I will show them the list of tunes, and I'll say, pick a tune. What am I talking about? I'll show you. You guys have seen me put this up on the screen before. And it's not, I'm going to pull up the list of our previous play-along songs. This is not 100% updated, but it includes lots of the songs that we've done. This list is getting kind of massive. I'm going to have to break it up into parts. But just to finish my thought, here we go. That one and that do the job. See if I can make that a little bit bigger. Of course I can. Okay, that's a bit bigger. So working with you guys on a Saturday like this, look at I mean, this is all thanks to you guys. We've done 137 of these live streams. What you're looking at is some of the, dozens and dozens and dozens of play-along songs. We've done 2 tonight. And so it helps my in-person teaching immensely. Imagine your teacher says, okay, here's a master list of songs. Pick a song for this week's lesson. It makes my job so easy, Scott mentions that Scott says he's waiting for a new acoustic electric ukulele from Sweetwater. It's on back order. That's how you know you got a good thing, because Sweetwater's sold out of it. I mean, I'm so sorry that you're still waiting. You've been waiting since February. My experience with Sweetwater is that the good stuff goes fast, and yeah, I hear you. Okay, so just so you guys know, I benefit professionally. I benefit professionally from doing these live streams with you guys. Scott, it shipped yesterday. All right. Yeah, man. Scott, it's going to be coming from Indiana, and you are in, that's going to be a short amount of time. It'll be in your hands. Let's see here. Scott, I'm just double checking where we're at here. Scott, I forget where you live. It's okay. You don't have to put it in the chat. But I'm just thinking from Sweetwater to you, it's going to be just a couple of days. You'll be rocking out. Oh, next Saturday, Scott, tell us all about it. Tell us what, once you have it in your hands, tell us how it feels, man. How does it feel? Okay. Now, we're not done by a long shot, but remember, I am here for your questions. So feel free to ask me a question. Put it in the chat. I'm going to wet my whistle. Stand by. Scott's in Utah. It'll get to you in no time. Excellent. Excellent. It's still raining out there. No bueno. Not because I don't like rain. I don't like how it makes the grass grow. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I digress. We have to talk about this new thing. What's the new thing we're going to talk about? A new song, and I think this is, it wasn't that one. We have a new thing. Is it that? No, not that one. Paul and Ringo. Paul and Ringo working together. What? There's a new song out there. And let's see if I can just make this happen faster. Paul and Ringo are doing a duet. And I'm hoping the song is actually out. With guess who on background vocals? Guess who? Chrissie Hynde from the Pretenders on background vocals. How cool is that? Let's see if this is, yeah, okay, stand by, my friends. I'm just going to pull up the new Musical Express website. Okay. On your screen, you will see or are about to see the NME, New Musical Express website. The headline says, Paul McCartney confirms a song called Home to Us, his first ever duet with Ringo Starr and featuring Chrissie Hynde. And I'm sorry, I don't know who Charlene Spiteri is, but Chrissie Hynde is singing background vocals. It's a new song. What the heck, His new album will feature a song called Home to Us. Yeah, man. The album is called The Boys of Dungeon Lane. The Boys of Dungeon Lane, coming out May 29th, 20 days from now. Duet with Ringo. Yeah, man. So something to look forward to. Some lucky fans have already got a taste of this album. Tuesday night, Tuesday, May 5th, a special fan album playback event at Abbey Road. They got to hear, I guess, the whole album, I guess. Very fun. Okay, so I want to share that happy news with you. How cool is that? That makes me so happy. But is that the only thing in the news? No. Stand by. We should also talk about another band that has a new song out. Let's see. Why not? I'm going to stick with NME. Rolling Stones. Anybody been listening to the new 2 songs out now from the new Rolling Stones album? Okay. On the stand by, bear with me, you guys. Okay. On the screen in front of you, hopefully you are seeing the headline. The Rolling Stones' new album, Foreign Tongues, also features an Amy Winehouse cover. There are 2 songs, and I'm going to double check to make sure I say the titles right. There are 2 songs from this new album that are available for those of us who stream music online. And the songs are, okay, I'm just going to go right to there. Instagram page here. Okay. In the Stars is one of them. Ba-da-boom, ba-da-boom. And the other song is called Rough and Twisted. It would appear that Rough and Twisted is the first song on the album, and In the Stars is the second song on the album, but don't quote me on that. Have any of you guys heard these new songs? Because I want to give you my feedback. I thought to myself, the Rolling Stones just had a new album out, like it seemed like yesterday, called Hackney Diamonds, but it was actually 2023. Where did those years go? So unless I'm crazy, it's been about 3 years since the last Rolling Stones album. And it really, if you had told me it was 3 months, I would have believed that. If you're reading what I'm reading, you can see that the album features guest appearances from Paul McCartney, Robert Smith from The Cure, right? Robert Smith, Steve Winwood, and some tracks of Charlie Watts playing the drums. They don't say, oh yes, the Amy Winehouse song is called You Know I'm No Good. That's the song they are covering right there on this new album. Okay, so has anybody, I'm going to go back to what you guys may or may not be saying in the chat. Anybody heard the, Randy says they sound great. Yeah. Randy, do you have a favorite of the two songs? The songs are Rough and Twisted and In the Stars. And Rough and Twisted, that's my favorite. That it, number one, it sounds like they're just plain having fun. It sounds like they're rocking out in the recording studio and someone happened to hit record. They just sound great. And I would like to be a fly on the wall. The other song, In the Stars, it's okay. They sound great. It sounds like they're trying to get some song and be like kind of a hit song, and I don't know. They kind of threw a lot at it, and it sounds like they're trying, you know. And Rough and Twisted sounds like they're not trying. It sounds like they just rocked out, you know. Joseph, you heard the songs? They both are worth checking out, but of the two, I like Rough and Twisted better. So I want to share that little Rolling Stones update with you guys. Check, check, check. Now, is there more? Oh, of course there's more. Kentucky Derby. The Kentucky Derby happened. Okay, no big deal. I did not pay much attention to the Kentucky Derby, which it would explain why I totally missed. Oh, you know what? I do have this, which is why I totally missed. That's what I'm looking for. Stand by. Okay, I totally missed who opened the Kentucky Derby with a great version of, there we go, the Star Spangled Banner. So stand by, everybody. I'm gonna see if this works here. Paste, how about that? Okay. This is gonna be one of those moments where, knock on wood, you guys are going to hear and see what I'm sharing just fine. Who am I talking about? Derek Trucks and Susan Tedeschi. What caught my ear immediately was how great Derek Trucks slide guitar sounds. So if you don't mind, this is just a random YouTube video just from some guy. I hope he doesn't mind. I'm going to throw him a little like there. There we go. Hopefully the sound quality of this is okay. Here comes Susan Tedeschi and Derek doing the national anthem. I hope this is not too raw sounding on your end. Okay, I'm going to click on play here. Here it comes. sprinkle
My wife said,
all right, how does that sound? I'm going to find unless you guys tell me in the chat that that was the amazing sound quality, I'm going to find a link to hopefully something one notch better than that. Pretty cool, right? That slide guitar is killing me. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. So I don't know, man. I like to think I'm in the loop about who's doing what out there. But no one told me that Derek Trucks would be rocking the Kentucky Derby with some great slide guitar and that nice, sweet Gibson SG. Oh, man. Anyways, I want to share that with you guys. Good times, you know. That. Bear with me, you guys. I'm checking off a couple of things to make sure we did that. Okay. Hey, for those of you who have stuck around for the whole show and you're still with me, how about if we do one more thing? A nice teachable moment. And I'm going to pick, I thought I had this queued up. Don't go anywhere. And if I don't have it right here, I'm going to send it to myself very fast. We've done lots of cool lesson stuff. That's the one I'm looking for. Yeah, man, what the heck? Okay, stand by. Don't go anywhere. Let's do this right here and right now. I chose this one, you guys, because it's kind of short and sweet, but it's a fun thing. Okay. And there's just enough music theory here to talk about. Okay. And just enough fun. It checks a lot of boxes. Okay, downloads, excellent downloads. Okay, bada boom, bada boom. There we go. Let's make it readable. Excellent. Okay, so for those of you who are stuck around this long, let's give you one more WTF, weekly teaching feature. Okay, on the screen in front of you, you will soon be seeing a nice workout I call the Pretty Woman exercise. What's up with the Pretty Woman exercise? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm going to zoom in on the top line because no, you guys are so nice. You never complain if something is hard to read, but dang, sometimes things are hard to read. Okay, now I know I just made it massive. I know. That's how nearsighted I am. Okay. At the top of the page is a G7 arpeggio. It's a way to play the 4 notes that make up a G7 chord in a way that's a good workout for your fretting fingers, because you're going to need all 4 of your fingers. Oh, there we go. It's actually more than just a G7. It's a G9 if you want to get technical about it. So number one, this alone is a cool exercise. You're going to put your fretting hand in 3rd position, meaning your index is hovering at the 3s. That also means your middle finger is in charge of the 4s, your ring is in charge of the 5s, and your pinky is in charge of that one little 6th note there. Okay, so now that you're in 3rd position, with your index waiting patiently at the 3rd fret, I'm not going to talk about which finger to use anymore, okay? Because 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s, every fret has its own finger, okay? I'm just going to get right into playing when it says 5 on the 4th string, 4 on the 3rd string, 3 on the 2nd string, 6 on the 2nd string, 5 on the 1st string, and you work your way backwards. and you loop that around over and over again. If nothing else, your fretting hand gets a good workout, you know. The second line is the same concept, simply with down-up picking, right? To remind you, anything that's worth doing, it's worth doing faster, and down-up picking facilitates that. Okay, so why is this called the Pretty Woman exercise? With a little tiny adjustment, you now have the Pretty Woman riff from the Roy Orbison song, which, by the way, full disclosure, I believe the official title is "Oh Pretty Woman." Sorry, Roy. Where it says "Pretty Woman" riff in the key of G. Why are we doing it in the key of G? At the moment, simply because it puts your fretting hand a little bit up the neck, but nothing too scary. You know, the original key, I believe, is in the key of E. That's at the bottom of the page, but we'll get there. Okay, the first two lines that you saw at the top of the page prepared you for this, because you've got all the notes you need with your fretting hand, and you've got the down-up picking. So the more comfortable you are with the first two lines, the easier this is going to be. It's not easy. You want to take it slowly. And hopefully you guys recognize that as the great guitar introduction to Pretty Woman. Great left hand workout. Great workout for both your hands. Okay, the bottom of the page is in the proper key. Because it's nice to be able to play in the proper key of the song. And if you know one thing about me, you know that I don't like to leave blank space on a paper. So if I zoom back out again, look how that would have been a big gaping white spot on the bottom of the page. Come on, you can't have that. You can't. Okay, so if this is not already on my website, this will be uploaded soon to my website, the Pretty Woman exercise. I love stuff like this, not just as a teacher, I mean for my own playing. Just the top of the page right there. I love what that does. I'm going to zoom in on it again for a second. I love what that top of the page does for, I know it's huge. I know, sorry, did that scare you? I love what it does for both your hands. If you memorize it, how cool is that? That's good for your brain, right? If you don't memorize it and you can play without looking at either one of your hands, how cool is that? My friends, that's what we call a win-win scenario. Technically, I'm doing the second line because I'm doing down-ups. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Remember, the first two up there, they do not directly 100% mimic or sound like Pretty Woman. They prepare you to play the Pretty Woman riff in the key of G. And why the key of G? Pretty arbitrary, I know. Okay, there you go. The Pretty Woman exercise. It's the riff is an arpeggio. In case I didn't make that clear, we all should be practicing our arpeggios. It's just nice to practice an arpeggio that sounds like something famous, so that, hey, if someone's listening to you, instead of saying, "Oh, there's my loved one practicing the guitar," they say, "Oh, I recognize that famous song." Okay, I'm going to stop sharing right there. I'm going to just see what you guys are talking about in the chat. Yeah, excellent. All right, you guys. How about we call it right there? Again, happy Mother's Day. If my mom is watching, hey, Mom, happy Mother's Day. I'm sure we'll connect tomorrow. Happy Mother's Day to Mrs. Songbike. We definitely will connect tomorrow. Knock on wood, we'll connect in about 45 minutes. You guys have a great weekend. Thanks for being here, especially those of you who stuck around the whole time. Thanks for being here the whole time. We'll do this all again next Saturday. I'm going to say a few good nights and goodbyes. Randy, DAC Poet, Marlon Bond, Joseph G, Bye Idaho. Hey, Bye Idaho. What a great name. Joseph M, thanks for being here. Jamie, Christian, thanks for checking in all the way from Denmark. Scott Rhodes, thanks for being here. Sandra Sue, Thanks for being here. Anybody, any of you who are watching for the first time, whether you're in the chat or not, thanks for watching. Tell a friend, okay? The more the merrier, right? Charlie Beagle, thanks for being here. Well, it's CLS, great. V. Berghaus, thanks for being here. Stephen, yeah. Joe, a lot of familiar names here. Live to Fly, Chaz, thanks for being here, you guys. Bruce, all the best, Bruce, from Connecticut to Sydney, Australia. Roger, thanks for being here. Okay, you guys, let's do this all again next Saturday. I already have I have 2 play-along songs in mind for next Saturday already, and they're good ones. So you're going to want to stick around for those. We'll have some more fun. All right, you guys, see you next week. Take care. Hope you play the guitar a lot. Have a great Mother's Day. I'll see you next week.